All right, welcome back. All right, in the last class, we talked about the for loop, okay? And this is what we have here in the for loop, okay? So now I want us to talk about, I want us to talk about, um, I want us to talk about the break keyword and the continue keyword. Okay, so I'm going to take this thing back to how it used to be. Okay, and I believe if you don't understand the previous class, please, like I said, let me know. Okay, so now you use the break keyword when you want to break out of the loop. You know, this loop will continue to run as long as this your condition is true. So, but for sometimes you just want to break out of it if something happens. Okay, so see, this is how programming works. Okay, don't worry when you start coding real project, like we know we'll be working on an ATM machine project after the end of that class. Okay, when we have really understood concept of that. Okay, we'll have a good foundation of that. We'll be coding, we'll be writing a project, we'll have a program, the ATM machine. So there you're going to see these things, how they work. But the thing is this, basically, this is how your programs will work. Okay, now I want to loop through the scores of my student, but at a point, I want to break out of it if something happens. So I want to stop the loop. Normally, this loop will run until this condition evaluates to false. But sometimes I might not want to wait for it to evaluate to false, but I would want to break out of it if something happens. So let's say I just want to print the first three scores. Okay, let's say I just want to print the first. Okay, let me make this thing to be sorted. Let me make this list to be sorted so that this my example can make sense. I have this 98, I have 78, I have 69, I have 58, 57, I have 45, and I have 34. Okay, now this thing is sorted. Okay, the highest score is 98, second is 78, 69. So I want to print the first three. I want to print the top three. Okay, now what do I do? Okay, here, okay, this my int a equal to 0 is my starting index. When we start talking about list, you get to understand that we don't start counting 1, 2, 3. We count 0, 1, 2. We start from 0. The index starts from 0. Don't worry about that if you don't understand this. When we start talking about the list, you understand better. But for now, I want you to understand that I want to break out of this loop if I get the first three top scores. So what do I do? This A is my starting index. So this 0, when I print the first one, it will print 98 because 98 is my starting index. It starts from 0. Okay, so if you don't understand, just take it like that. As time goes on, you understand better. Okay, so I want to print. If I run this code now, I'm going to print all of them. All right, you can see that I'm printing all of them, but I just want to print the top three. So what do I do? Okay, I will now say, I will do something. I'll say if, remember our if statement, if A is equal to 2, I want to break out. Okay, now this if statement that I have written like this, I told you when we are talking about the if else statement, if your code, normally I'm supposed to do something like this. I don't want to confuse it here. I will say break. But because I just have one line of statement inside here, I can just do the break from here. I don't have to put the curly braces. Okay, I'll just do it from here. So I hope you don't get confused. Okay, so when I am saying if the index is 2, right, the first one is the first index is 0, okay, to print 98. it will come here, it will check, do the condition check, increment, and once it gets the 0, the A gets to 2, which is the third. Okay, sorry about that. My network threw me out. Okay, so we are back. All right, so if I run this code now, I'm just going to print the first 3. Okay, and I said once this A is equal to 2, break out of this loop. I just wanted to understand the break. When we start talking about lists, you're going to understand this thing better, but just have an understanding of this break. Normally, if I don't have this condition, this if condition to break out, it will print all the scores. But because, let me comment this thing out, okay, and if I run, it's going to print all the scores. But because I have this condition, and I say if A is equal to 2, just break out. I don't want to print again, just break out. And it breaks out, okay? And it just gives me the first 3. Now, so this is the break keyword. We also have the continue keyword. Okay, how does this one work? Now look at it. If I run this code now, okay? If I run this code, all right, it will make sense if I have this my print statement down here. I am saying if A is equal to 2, just continue. Don't come down to this line of code. What does it mean? What does it mean? It means, the loop will go from, I'm looking through all the scores, okay, from the first one to the last one. But here I said if the index is 2, please, I don't want you to print it. Just go back to the start of the loop and continue. Just skip. All right. The best way to explain it is though, once the A is equal to 2, just skip it. I don't want you to print it out for me. So here we have A. The index 2 here is 69. So here 69 will not be printed out. Okay. It will just skip the 69. You can look at it now. 98, 78, 69 was not printed out, then 57. So it's like this continue keyword is like skip. Don't run this code. Don't run this code. If I comment it out, 69 will be printed, okay? But if I have that condition there, it will just skip it. I don't want you to print it, just skip it. Okay, I said don't worry if you don't really understand these things very well. When you start practicing them, you'll get to understand them well, okay? It is a journey of patience, okay? So thank you very much. In the next class, we'll be talking about the for in loop, all right? We'll still be using the same example here with our student scores, okay? I'll see you in the next class.